Hello once again, everyone, and welcome back after a bit of a long absence, and those who had to think outside the box for those of you keeping up with the channel. But, all that aside, this is going to be discussing the Combat of the 30 at Yeehaw 2024. What is it? How does it work? Should I compete? And a little bit of the changes that happen to rules therein. And joining me today is Adam, and also in a moment, Dave. So, the Combat of the 30 is meant to be a heavy armor specific scenario, wherein we're going to limit the equipment that is allowed to be brought to simulate close-ish quarters. So for that example, Adam here is equipped with a spear that is much shorter than one he might carry in the field. So put that against the ground real quick, Adam. So the cutoff limit for both spears and axes will be 6 feet. So no matter how nice it is, if it's longer than that, I'm not allowing it. I want it to be relatively short. Besides that, you are allowed to carry, everyone is allowed to carry a sword and a dagger in combination or as their main choice of weapon. So poleaxe or spear, your choice. For equipment-wise, Adam currently cannot pass muster, but we'll get to that later in a minute. You need to have at least 90% harness. The only piece I want you missing for competing in the Combat of 30 is like your greaves or something, and that just means you've got them replaced with something modern to keep it safe. This is going to be rather rough and tumble and rather close. Along with that as well, we are permitting people to carry 2 extra bits of equipment that are not normally allowed. So we are allowing, if you want to, and you can, you're allowed to carry a shield if you wish. We're also allowing people to carry maces within specifications. So this is just a shield that I grabbed for sake of exemplifying this. It could be any sort of shield as long as it fits on your armor. But the main thing about this is there are special rules involved. And as for our maces, I have all the requirements written down below. But let me just go ahead and get something out of the way first. This is not going to turn into Bowhur. Not going to happen. The whole point of this is that we're permitting, just in the heavily armored scenario, for people to start playing with a couple different things they don't normally get to play with because everyone will be in the same gear level. So, spears, axes, swords, daggers, those all still work the same way. Let's talk about how the mace works. So, Adam, you with me? So, number one, if you're utilizing a shield, there's no striking permitted. Don't want to see it. Don't even want to see you think about it. It's just a way pretty much to cover against another mace user or someone swinging a poleaxe to your head. That's really all it's good for. So, put that out of the way. When it comes to both of our percussive weapons, that's hitting with a poleaxe or hitting with a mace. The rules will be, if you want to out someone, you must hit them 3 times in the head. So, if Adam and I are fighting, I mention him once, we keep going. I have to hit him 2 more times. This also means that there's a certain degree of power required. Now, these are safe. You don't really need to dagger somebody, but it should feel in the calibration class about the same as when we hit with the poleaxe, and these really do. Just Adam knows that's pretty good. He keeps a mental count of, yup, got hit once. Doesn't matter for me, if it's someone else who comes up, got hit twice. So, you're running with, you can take 3 percussive blows to the head, and that will out you. Now, real quick, Adam, go ahead and take a guard real quick. Percussive blows for fight ending will only count the head. I don't care how hard you hit someone in the arms. 1, don't do that. But 2, he doesn't care. Same is true of hands, even if it is a poleaxe. I only want the head to be what is counted as you stepping out. Otherwise, armor is doing its job. This slightly departures from the standard Yeehaw melee rules for good reason I'll get to in a minute. So, Adam wants to go ahead and take a break, and I'll get Dave up. Okay, so along with our percussive hits now being a factor, and Dave and I are both equipped with poleaxes. Let's take a step with it. Along with this as well, mail is going to slightly change. So now, if I stab Dave stoutly in the mail, that's 1 gone. If I stab him again stoutly in the mail, that's 2, he's out. So, that's either, just I'm going to repeat this a lot, 3 strikes to the head, or 2 thrusts to the mail. Done. Finally, the other way that you can out someone, Dave, go ahead and expose your palm to me in some way. Alright? A thrust or cut to an unarmored target, which those should be relatively small, instant out. So you can eat 3 to the head percussively, 2 to the mail, 1 to palm or whatever else is exposed. I know a couple people will probably have openings on the back of their legs or other places like that. If you can get it, then it counts. And it's your job to keep this tally running in your head. Now, that's a lot, especially when you're fighting somebody. So I'm not super worried about if people mistake one or two. Number one, you're probably going to get downed by a combination of things, as opposed to, some guy actually walking up and whacking you 3 times in the head. The 2 thrusts of the mail, though, could definitely happen. Now, along with this as well, if you are disarmed of all of your weapons, I expect for you to leave the field. So, Dave has an axe, so I rip that out of his hand. Guy's a dagger, I rip that away from him. Now he needs to go away. Likewise, if I knock him over, he stays down and exits the field. Getting thrown will not count as like you're done. You can come back in, but stay down if you get thrown and exit the field when you can. It's only if you get disarmed and have no way of fighting that I want you exiting the field and not coming back in, because you lost all your toys. Now likewise, this does also give a special rule, which is, if it's your very last life, sword or spear, whatever, and someone stabs you in a place of target, go ahead. On your way out, keep it on. You are allowed to take it with you. The reason I wanted to do this is Kurt Holtfeder, good friend of Yeehaw, had this little training game idea, and I liked it. So if it's my very last life, and he stabs me and I grab this, I'm allowed to take it with me on my way out of the field. I don't get to come back in, but now, when Dave comes up against the next guy, he has to pull his dagger. This will also ensure that people have to resort to their secondaries more often as the numbers go by, so that no matter how good of a player you are, there's a decent chance that you lose your primary weapon. Which is why I expect you to also generally be carrying a sword and a dagger in combination. I want you armed to the teeth so you have the best chance of lasting the longest. Now, a couple other specialty rules. Dave, you take a couple steps forward. And I'll use my mace to illustrate this. Just like normal melee, no joint locks, etc. You're absolutely around to, throw people or whatever you want to do, but I don't want to see manipulation of the joints themselves or stuff like that. Likewise, if in the midst of the battle you see 2 guys are locked up grapple-wise, leave them alone. Only interfere with your weapon. So, for example, Adam, could I have you? I've got Dave focused entirely on me. Dave, I'm still worth focusing on. Adam, stab this guy in the butt. That's fine, right? But alternatively, if Adam didn't have a weapon that he could interact with quickly and efficiently, let it go. Let it happen. Likewise, about face. Just like normal melees, no striking at the back of the head. You come up behind someone, the correct answer should be to stab them, or, like I just talked about before, hold him and have someone else who's clearly he's paying attention to stab him instead. Simple stuff like that. Everyone will be of the same armor level, so wrestling is allowed, like I discussed. That's it. All it is the same general Yeehaw conduct that I expect people to partake in, but because people have been good in years past, and I really want to do a heavy armor scenario that lets people fight for a long time, we will do the combat of the 30. So, if anyone has any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. But just one more time, it's longer combat, full armor, 3 blows to the head with a percussive weapon. Pommels don't count for that. 2 thrusts to the mail, 1 thrust or cut to an unarmored target, or losing all your weapons. Otherwise, though, I look forward to seeing you all in November. Thank you very, very much for watching. And we will go over some other techniques another time.